My name is Oshun, and on this channel, we uncover the creepiest, most unusual haunted TikToks the internet has to offer for entertainment purposes. Please do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe to the Soul Tribe for your weekly dose of supernatural, coming to you every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, and maybe a bonus day. Y'all, my Soul Tribe, and the tribe is with the Y, because the Y is for you, because I love you so freaking much. Let me know where y'all are tuning in from in the comments, and let me know what your sign is. In the meantime, let's get into this video.
Graveyard shift in a funeral home. Hi, so I work overnight in a funeral home. My shift starts at 7 p.m. and I get off at 6 a.m. We've had some creepy things happen and I am loving it. I wanted to share it all with somebody but didn't know who. Here are a few of the things. This one happens quite often. Outside of the prep room, the place in the funeral home where we embalm bodies, we will hear footsteps pacing the hallway. At any given point, there are no more than 4 people in the building on a normal night, so for 2 people to be in the prep room and hear this while everybody else is out on first calls would rule out the footsteps belonging to anybody. This one also happens maybe 2 or 3 times a week. The door in my office will slam shut. The other day, for example, I walked through the office door after getting a drink from our break room and went to our dressing area, and the door literally slammed shut behind me. It also happens when I'm at my desk and totally alone in the funeral home. A hallway outside my office with the door that slams shut. I can also hear footsteps pacing back and forth. I tend to just close my office door when I'm working so I don't have to hear it all. Back to the prep room. One night I was chatting with 2 other coworkers outside the prep room. We had just finished embalming some people and were taking a bit of a break before cleaning up and disinfecting, sterilizing everything. We are all standing around outside the door and hear something hit the far wall of the prep room and then hit the ground. Me being me, I went to investigate, and it was our trocar button tool, but the last person to use it. We all saw him set the tool down on his prep table, about 30 feet away from the wall that it hit before dropping to the ground. Another thing in the prep room that I didn't personally experience, but my coworker on the other shift swears by, is that he was prepping somebody while he was alone in the building, and the phone on the wall started dialing out. The phone dialed a funeral home in Missouri, the same funeral home that the person on the prep table was going to be shipped to. This happened last night actually. We have industrial yellow cabinets that our flammable fluids are stored in. On top of those cabinets are plastic bins that we will put babies in before going in the cooler. That way they can be more protected. Anyways, all of our bins fell off the top of the cabinet. There were 3 of us in the building. I was coming around the corner when I saw it. One person was in the prep room, and the closest person to the cabinet was easily over 30 feet away. I love my job.
We just took this job like 2 days ago through the city. This is ridiculous. Somebody has definitely been walking behind me. I'm not sure. I just saw some tourists from Ohio. Told them that the place closes at 10. I'm about to head back over there. We've got somebody that's going to be buried here tomorrow, so I'll be doing an escort. Right now I'm just... Okay, I've got my taser out now, y'all, just to be aware. Jesus Christ. What is going on? I'm basically just securing all this stuff right now. Just making sure there's nobody in here. Anybody in here? Hello? Yeah, but listen, you got to get out of here. You're going to have to come talk to me, okay? Where you at? I can't see you. You're correct. So you need to come out, okay? you guys hear this. This is broad daylight. I don't know where this kid is. Where are you? I'm actually hearing something banging on the door. I'm hoping I'm going to catch this son of a bitch. Okay, I'm back. Door was open again. Hello, security. Okay. I don't know how they keep opening these. Hello. Yeah. Hey, you need to come out. I'm not playing anymore. I don't know where these people are or where. Jesus Christ. So, don't know what's going on here, but I'm about to check this out. Okay, guys. I'm really not sure what's going on here. Nope. Yeah, I'm done.
I sensed a disturbance in the forest, so I'm going to go check it out. Oh, well, hello there, little guy. What are you doing here all alone? Do you need something? Are you looking for your mother?
That was probably her own little electronic friend. I don't know what the heck that was, little bug trying to, I don't know. But what if it wasn't? What if it was something that she really just walked up on? That's weird. That little bitch attacked her too. I once had a friend when I was younger whose family owned a funeral home, and I remember being in there and feeling energies unseen, honey. So I know all about the funeral home life. It was interesting, to say the least. But the baby hand banging with the little giggle, honey. Oh, hell to the no. Like, I would have had to just say bump that 2 weeks and been up out of there. Like, if that was like edited some way, excellent editing. But I don't know. That may have been real, and that would have been my last day. Period. Okay, I'm not playing around. Hell to the no. I would have been terrified. But would you ever work in a graveyard? Would you ever work in a graveyard, whether it's day or night shift? Me, no. When I was a child, I definitely played in them. Even as an adult, I played in them. I really don't find graveyards scary, honestly, but I wouldn't want to work there to have to go there every day. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that. But and at nighttime, hell to the no. Every time I was in a graveyard, it was during the day. Next video. Did you know that setting aside as little as $300 from each paycheck into a max-funded IUL instead of a 401k can give you $610,000 tax-free money and will provide you with $60,000 a year tax-free in retirement? Comment IUL below if you want more information. If you're open to being a financial professional licensed in your state, please send me an email at essence@tenaciouscashflowacademy.com.
Uy. ¡Hueputa! 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 Oscar, 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 Oscar.
¿Qué pasó?
Marica, había un niño, huevón.
¡Hueputa, hueputa, 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 hueputa!
Oscar, había un niño, huevón. Uy. ¡Hueputa, hueputa, hueputa! Oscar, 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 Oscar.
¿Qué pasó?
Marica, había un niño, huevón.
Hueputa, 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 hueputa.
Oscar, había un niño, huevón.
Office. Fuck me. Fuck no. Yo, Chat, I don't play this. My PC is sweating. This is like a PS4 2020. Chat, did the stream crash? Y'all know what happened. Let's do it, y'all. It can't handle it. What's up, man? Talk to me. A guy standing in front of the door? What door? Oh my god. I gotta go tell this bitch ass. Oh, what's this, some stew? Yeah? Wait, why can't I pick the crowbar up though, bro? Don't worry about this weak ass game, nigga. I'm in the streets. What you talking about? I do this. I just motherfucker hood up, cuz, and snip that shit. I like that. What you talking about, cuz? Like security room. I like that. What you talking about? Yeah, you can whisper in my ear all you want. That shit don't scare me. Come and see me though. Come and see me though. Get the off of this game. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, great stream. I'll be talking to y'all tomorrow, man. Everybody put some W signs and money signs in the chat. Money signs in the chat, man. I'll talk to y'all.
I work the graveyard shift at an old prison. I've seen things you wouldn't believe. When you work the graveyard shift at a prison, you see some messed up stuff. And I'm not talking about the kind of stuff you're thinking of right now. Inmates killing their bunkmates, screaming all through the night, shitting themselves and rubbing the shit all over. Hell, since I'm the only female guard on night watch, I get these guys nutting through the bars as I walk by at least once a month. None of that is unusual. That's the basic stuff. The kind of stuff that makes you get mad and shout. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that makes you go quiet. The stuff that, when you see it or hear it, you go pale, your eyes go wide. Something happened recently that slots straight into this category. It's hard to even put into words, honestly. To explain it to you, I've got to go to the very start of the story. I was doing my rounds on an otherwise normal night. Fucko Phil had been shouting for a while, as he usually did, so me and my night watch partner Armin had gone in and beat him quiet. Phil had made a habit of shouting all day and all night about how he was innocent, and goddamn was it annoying. Beating inmates was business as usual for us because there was no other way to reel them in when they got rowdy. You might think it harsh, but it's just the way we do things. Anyway, apart from Fucko Phil being Fucko Phil, we don't know how he got that nickname, by the way. It was a normal night. Until we got to Lee's cell. Didn't think much of it at first. Lee was a lifer, in for killing 6 rival gangers in a shootout. He was sitting on the ground, at the far end of his cell with his back against the wall and his knees up against his chest. Wasn't unusual for inmates to stay up late jacking off or doing not much of anything, so my partner and I walked on by. Wasn't worth our time to force inmates to go to bed. Least of all a stone-cold guy like Lee. After patrol, we typically kicked back in the control room watching the cams for a couple hours. Actually, to tell you the truth, neither of us really bothered to do what we were supposed to be doing in there. I mean, hell, there were like 20 of these cams and there was never anything worth looking at on them. Just a series of long hallways, dimly lit and all grainy. I'm sitting in control right now as I type this, and looking up, there's not a worthwhile thing to be seen. Anyway, after a couple hours, we headed out on our second patrol, and when we got to Lee's cell, he was sitting the exact same, staring the exact same. "Lee?" I called to him. "Get to bed already." He didn't answer or move or anything. Even in the dark, the whites of his eyes were bright, and when I swung my flashlight on him, the glow shimmered off his arms and his forehead like he was sweating buckets. I looked up at this bunkmate. He was fast asleep, snoring soundly. I looked back at Lee. "Lee, I'm not gonna tell you again. Get to bed, Lee, answer me." Nothing. He was frozen like a statue, only this statue was shaking a little, and those eyes, goddamn, they looked like they were about to pop right out of his head. "Fucking freak," my partner muttered. "Come on, Melly, ain't worth it." I nodded and went along, leaving Lee to his shenanigans, but it didn't sit right with me, the way he was just sitting there and staring. I felt like he was staring right through me. As my partner and I got back into the control room, the lights and screens flickered a little. Didn't think anything of it. Our slammer was one of the older ones. We got back to scrolling our phones till the end of our shift. About Lee, You're probably thinking that he was just a loony like the rest of the inmates, and that loonies do loony shit all the time, right? You'd be right usually. Basic stuff. But get this. That morning, right when I'd gotten home after my shift, I got a call from work. First time they'd ever called me at that hour. Then another first time thing. The prison warden himself was on the line. "Melly," he said, "what the fuck happened with Lee?" He was acting a little odd," I told him, "but that's all, sir." "Melly," he said, "Lee is dead. Dawn Patrol found him with his throat torn out." My first thought was that his bunkmate did him in. Basic stuff, right? But apparently his bunkmate woke up when Dawn Patrol went in there to investigate, and the bunkmate was so damn scared by what he saw that he literally pissed himself. Dawn Patrol swore that it couldn't have been an act. Well, they pinned the murder on him anyway. Bunkmate got life on top of life. Basic stuff that. We don't do the whole court case thing in our prison. You know, where cops look everything over and witnesses take the stand and ultimately smart people decide who's guilty and who's not. Nah, usually we just pick whoever looks most suspect in a given situation, and the judge slaps another life sentence on them, doubling or tripling the life sentence they first came in for. The next night I went by Lee's cell again on my patrol. They'd cleaned the place up and his bunkmate was still in there. Kind of fucked up honestly that they didn't even move him, but that's basic stuff. Things got even weirder then. Lee's bunkmate, his name was Walter, was awake and crying in the cell. I figured he was crying because of the new life sentence, which meant that he no longer had any chance at parole. Not that he was getting parole anyway, seeing as he killed his wife and mailed parts of her to her family out of spite. But that wasn't it. He stood up when I got to his cell and grabbed the bars, so fast that I leapt back, hand on my baton. "You gotta do me in," he barked. "I what?" I stuttered. "Make it quick, do me in, I'm begging." Armin, my partner, chuckled. "What's your deal, Walt?" "It's coming." Walter spat that out literally. I had to wipe my face with the back of my hand. "It?" Armin drawled. "Got Lee, I'm next, do me in please, quick and painless, please." You can now check if there's a part 2 by pressing share and more.
That was a crazy story. Oh my goodness. Like from the beginning, it was crazy. Like, wait a minute. They said at least one of the guys are nutting as that person is walking by, and they're doing it through the bars. And that happens often. And he said that that wasn't even the weird part. Man, what? I don't want to see that. And then goes and says that they beat people quiet, and that's just business as usual. That's just how it goes. So y'all beating them unconscious? Like, what? I'm confused. That's the only way somebody's going to go quiet. And then says about Lee and his throat being gutted out. What happened to Lee? And then the roommate is, or the cellmate is terrified because he said he's next. But from what he did and why he's in prison, he needs to be next. So, karma's a bee. But first video, does ghosts have shadow? Because any ghosts I know of, they don't have shadow. So, I don't know. I've never personally seen a ghost, but I've seen a shadow person, shadow people. And shadow people don't have shadows. But would a ghost have a shadow? Because that little boy definitely had a ghost. Or a shadow, I mean, like on the ground as he was pitter-patting through the halls and stuff. So, I don't know. Was that real or fake? They could be doing skits and he got his kid playing along to entertain YouTube and TikTok for the effery. Okay, who knows? But, yeah. That was interesting. And then the streamer, any streamers watching, do you know what game he was playing? He was really shook. That was funny. But his commentary is funny too. So go follow him, y'all. But anyway, next video.
The term graveyard shift originates from the 1800s. During that time, being buried alive was a real fear that people had. So special coffins were designed and rigged with bells that the people above ground could hear. And if someone was buried alive, they would ring the bell to alert anyone in the area. So people were actually employed to walk the graveyards at night, listening for the bells of the undead. And on rare occasions, the bell would actually go off, and the graveyard shift employee had to race against the clock. Imagine the feeling you got working that job if the bell that rang belonged to somebody that you knew.
I got stuck in the freezer in my graveyard shift for 10 minutes. I had my phone, but there is no service in the freezer. The kitchen guy never wears his headset, so he didn't hear me. I started panicking after 3 minutes. F that, I'm not going in alone anymore. The kitchen guy goes, I've been looking for you.
Hey, somebody fucking in here with me. I'm up here doing this damn job. These folks want me to do all this walking in the dark. I'm not walking down there in no motherfucking dark. Hey. Hey. Not coming the fuck out there, man. Somebody is down there with me. Somebody in here with me. When I got this job, I told them I don't do things like this. And I got my camera on, bitch. You can go if you just come out. I'll let you go free. But don't try to just pop out on me, you know what I'm saying, scare the fuck out of me, make me shit all on myself on the job. Come on now. Come on now, I'm just trying to get my goddamn hours and go home now. He gonna act like he don't hear me. You know you back there, come on. I'm not finna, I'm telling y'all, I'm finna go. And the clock, I'm going this way. Fuck that.
Ah, no mames.
¿Qué?
Pasó algo.
¿Qué pasó? No mames.
A ver, ven. No mames, pasó algo, te lo juro que pasó algo,
Se mueve, ya se mueve.
Vete a la verga.
Yo no voy.
No mames.
TikTok user Veronica is working the night shift on the second floor of the Baylor Scott & White Medical Center in Rowlett, Texas. Suddenly, they start to experience something truly creepy.
Did you hear her?
Yes.
You hear her?
Le voy a decir yo que we're working up. We're working up.
She probably thinks I'm her mom. That was you.
No, I swear to God. Was that something? Come on.
Veronica and her coworkers hear the sound of someone humming or singing.
Did you hear her?
Yes.
You hear her? That was you.
No, I swear to God. Was that something? Come on.
And a door opens by itself. Night shift worker Veronica explains that she believes that several ghosts haunt the Baylor Hospital, but she says that one of them, the ghost of a young girl, can often be heard laughing and singing throughout the hallways, as if trying to reach out to the staff. So is the hospital haunted by the spirit of a young girl? Let me know what you think.
Yes, child. Hospitals and nursing homes are very active or very haunted. Doesn't mean it's bad spirits though, but very, very, very active. I've worked in both throughout my adulthood, and I definitely have some stories, okay? But yeah, very, very, very active. But what would you want that job of helping to dig up the undead? Like, I'm going to pass. It's going to be a hard no for me on that one, okay? I don't care if they're alive. That's still creepy. Like, what happened that you got buried alive? Because, what, did you stop breathing at some point in time? What happened? That doesn't even matter. I don't care. I don't want to dig you up. That's not happening. So, I'm going to pass on that job. But why wasn't Shorty bang you on the door that got stuck in the freezer? Like, I ain't see her bang, 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 bang. I ain't see her kick out. Would have been kicking the heck out that door, okay? That door's coming down. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to break something. I'm getting up out of there. Like, what? Hell to the nah. She said then she had to just wait for him to come looking for her, or he tapped into the air thing. Like, where you at? Like, nigga, I'm in the freezer freezing. Thank you. Please wear your headset from now on. Like, come on now. And then the other dude, he said, hey, I know you're down there. He was funny, but I would have been the same way, okay? Same exact actions would have been taken if I was him. Because, no, y'all, I'm not playing with you. You don't pay me enough for this, okay? No, we're not playing this game, okay? Next video.
Could you make one of those lights on the string light up, Blue?
Oh.
Thank you.
Wow. What?
Thank you.
It's like they're standing right there.
I've never seen it do that.
You have to hold it? Wow.
Okay.
If you're a male under the age of 18, light it up.
Okay.
Did you live in the house? If you did, can you light them up? All of them? There you go. Wow. Okay, so you lived here.
If you worked here as well as lived here, could you please light the whole string up? Okay.
Whoa. Nice.
That's cool as shit because the whole thing lit up.
Yeah.
If you worked for the Porter family, could you light the whole string up just like you did before?
Possibly you were here before the Porters were here.
Did you live here before 1790?
Were you here after 1790?
Sorry. Yes.
If you know the Knox family.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow. So then we know that you were here after 1820.
When you security but scary.
This story's called To Serve and Deliver. As Arnold had done before, he found himself yet again convincing a new security partner that the face they could see in the camera in the loading dock was not real. This would be really tough for him to do, seeing just in the last 3 months 2 other girls had gone missing in that museum. And Arnold had only just finished convincing police that the horrific death of his last security partner just last week was an accident. For it was simple, the face that they could see in the camera, who taunted him every night, would leave him alone if he just delivered fresh blood. And that's exactly what Arnold will continue to do.
My job is to switch my damn location. I've been working out here in this Jason Voorhees Children of the Corn ass spot. Like, you can't see shit out here. It's mist, rain, and mud. Literally, bro. Like, I think I'm the only one here. Now my car making random noises and shit, and I gotta turn the motherfucker off. Mind you, I'm about like 50 minutes away from the crib. Something happened to me, y'all got my location. The ones I love and shit. I know I'm out here with that fire on me, cuz.
Welcome to the Cashtown Inn. It is said to be one of the most haunted hotels in Pennsylvania. Oshun's cellar was transformed into a makeshift field hospital. Would you spend the night at this haunted inn?
Who's gonna go visit Cash Town Inn? The Cash Town Inn in Pennsylvania. Not I. I'm gonna pass on that one, okay? I don't care to see that building. It looks pretty old, probably very haunted. But go check them out if you live in PA. But what about the Salmon Mansion? Has anybody ever heard of that Salmon Mansion? And the different families that lived in there. What is that was actually some pretty cool communication, them talking to the spirit and the spirit communicating through the lights and changing the lights and lighting up all lights and following the instruction. Could have been staged, but fascinating to think about if it was real phenomenon that was happening. But of course we gotta be skeptical of everything. And then fun fact, my last name is McCamey. No relation to the manor though, okay? Yes. But the guy, the security guard, he's a brave soul. He's a very brave soul. I would not be at that location alone in the dark at nighttime with a flashlight. But he said he was armed, so we'll see. But yeah, I wouldn't be doing it. Anyway, next video.
Something wicked this way comes. This is Paranormal Night Shift. What's up, time travelers? These are your fan-submitted stories, since we are the people who are up at the same time that the critters that go bump in the night are. We'll get right to it. This one's called The Wheelchair. Heather W. writes, I grew up in western North Carolina, actually on a road that shares your last name, sir. My grandmother ran, for lack of a better word, a boarding house. Except for it wasn't one house. It was a series of houses and trailers that were all kind of together in a circle. She'd rent them out to day workers and drifters and travelers. Nobody would stay that long, except for this one couple. They had been there for years. The old man was in a wheelchair. I never really understood why. All I know is that he was in the war and now he was in a wheelchair. And the lady was nice, and the two of them seemed to be so deeply in love. It was a two-story house, and being that he was confined to a wheelchair, my grandmother always told him that they should move to one of the other houses when it came available, but the old woman said, no, this is our home. From what we can understand, the old woman got hurt, must have fallen and broken her leg, because that's what the autopsy report showed. There was a horrible thunderstorm. She was upstairs and lightning had struck the house and it quickly went to a blaze. Within a matter of 15 minutes, the house was fully engulfed in flames. There was nothing anyone could do. And being so rural, there was no real fire department easily available. By the time the fire department did arrive, the house was gone, burnt to the ground. The only thing that stayed was the wheelchair. It was at the bottom of the stairs, seatbelt undone. I couldn't imagine the agony he went through listening to her scream as he climbed little by little up the steps. It must have taken every ounce of strength he had to try to get to her. And that's how they were found by the fire marshal, wrapped in each other's arms on what remained of the second floor. For some reason, my grandmother and I never could bring it to ourselves to throw the wheelchair away, so we put it in our attic. The other night, there was a horrible thunderstorm, and I swear I could hear it rolling around. The next morning, when I went up into the attic to check, sure enough, that wheelchair was right next to the steps. That is a great paranormal night shift story. It's a beautiful story, honestly. You asked for the HR violation sticker, so we're sending it to you. Please, if you have other paranormal night shift stories, please send them here. We'd love to use them.
He was working the night shift when he sees this. Texas ghost hunters posted a haunting video where a graveyard night guard is doing his rounds when he began to hear strange voices or something almost animal-like somewhere in the graveyard. As the guard goes near the area, just by a large tombstone, he sees this. Like something straight out of a nightmare, the weeping voice of a man can be heard. Then, as he looks around, the pitch-dark shadow of a man can be seen standing by the tombstone, watching him. But as he looks again, nothing's there. Could this actually be the restless spirit of a man weeping upon his grave? Let me know what you think.
I was working graveyard shift alone, and I noticed a pink ghost was staring at me.
Child, that was probably a freaking fan. Like, look, that looked like this. Sitting in the window up there. Like, I doubt that was a ghost. I'm not falling for it. But it was a good one. It was a good one. But what was the shadow on the surveillance camera? I thought it could have been a bug at first, but when I looked at it again, I don't know. Let me know what you think that was. I thought it was a bug. I was about to say, man, throw that away. But then I looked again, I was like, But that wheelchair story, that was really sad. That was a really sad story. What would you have done with the wheelchair? I personally would not have kept the wheelchair, but I would not have just trashed it either. But let me know what you would have done. And then that crying spirit in the graveyard was probably crying because he just realized that he's passed away, and he probably got like unfinished business or anything, but maybe just didn't realize that he was gone and just realized that he was gone. So now he's a sad spirit, a sad soul. But who knows? Either way, it's sad and very spooky. Okay. Next video.
I'm at the graveyard at night, cleaning this abandoned grave for free. I have so many questions in my head. What happened? How did this grave get so dirty? Who's buried here? Her name's Bienvenida. Wow. Her name means welcome in Espanol. Wait a minute. Her grave should be welcoming too. But right now, this is the dirtiest grave I've ever seen. That's so unfair. Everyone deserves a beautiful resting place. Bienvenida died on July 23rd, 1980. Her star sign is Aries. My best friend is an Aries. I wonder what Bienvenida's life was like. Does she like chocolate cupcakes? What killed her? This transformation is a lot of work. I might be here all night, but it's so fun. Ooh, a little bug. Thank you to everyone who supports and follows.
I used to work here on the graveyard shift. The place is highly haunted. It's a state-funded psychiatric hospital.
Graveyard shift nightmares unveiled. I started my shift at the hospital at midnight, as usual. The graveyard shift is typically quiet, with only the occasional patient stirring or a distant beeping of a monitor breaking the silence. But tonight, something felt off. It started when I noticed a shadowy figure in the hallway, someone who wasn't supposed to be there. I checked the roster. No new admissions, no scheduled visitors. My heart skipped a beat, but I brushed it off, thinking it was just my tired eyes playing tricks on me. As the hours ticked by, more of these figures appeared, each one more unsettling than the last. They roamed the halls, their faces obscured, their movements unnatural. I tried to get a closer look, but every time I approached, they vanished into thin air. My colleagues seemed oblivious, engrossed in their routines, leaving me to question my sanity. Was I the only one seeing them? The air grew colder, and an eerie feeling settled over the ward, making every hair on my body stand on end. Around 3 a.m., I decided to check the security footage, hoping to find some explanation. My hands trembled as I replayed the recordings. There they were, the shadowy figures, moving through walls, hovering over patients, their forms flickering like a glitch in reality. They were real, and they were here. Panic surged through me as I realized these apparitions were drawn to the patients who were closest to death. I had to warn someone, anyone, but who would believe me? Just as I was about to call for help, the lights flickered and the power went out. The emergency generators kicked in, casting a dim, haunting glow over the entire floor. I turned to find one of the figures standing right behind me, its hollow eyes staring deep into mine. It whispered my name in a voice that sounded like 1,000 tortured souls. "Welcome to the graveyard shift," it said before everything went black. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed, surrounded by doctors and nurses. They told me I had collapsed from exhaustion. But I knew the truth. The graveyard shift wasn't just quiet, it was a gateway, and now I was part of it.
As a current overnight security guard that works from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m., I could honestly say this is probably one of the easiest jobs to ever have. One of the good things about it is that it is only you. There's nobody else here to bother you, nobody else to talk to. You have your game here, or you could chat with your friends. You could eat whenever you want, or you could listen to music. And that's pretty much it, you know. But one of the things that I could probably say isn't fun is having to walk and see this. This ominous corner in this dark hallway. I really do not like this hallway. Do you think you could be a security guard?
In the graveyard shift at the morgue, I realized the bodies weren't as lifeless as they seemed. The first time it happened, I was cataloging a recent arrival, an elderly woman who had died of natural causes. As I turned to grab a report, I caught a glimpse of her hand twitching in the corner of my eye. I dismissed it as a trick of the light, but the unease gnawed at me. The room was silent, but the air felt thick with a presence I couldn't quite explain. Over the next few nights, the occurrences became more frequent and undeniable. Body bags would appear slightly unzipped, and the faintest whisper of movement would echo through the cold, sterile room. I started to avoid looking directly at the bodies, fearing what I might see. One night, the lights flickered, and in that brief moment of darkness, I heard a soft, almost imperceptible whisper, "Help me." My heart pounded as I turned on my flashlight, its beam cutting through the suffocating darkness, revealing nothing but still, lifeless forms. Determined to uncover the truth, I set up a hidden camera, convinced that the mounting fear was merely a manifestation of my overworked mind. The footage, however, told a different story. In the dead of night, the camera captured the bodies shifting, their limbs moving with a slow, deliberate purpose. One figure, a young man, sat up and turned his head towards the camera, his eyes vacant yet somehow aware. The realization hit me like a wave. These bodies were not just lifeless forms, they were trapped, conscious in their deathly state. I couldn't leave them like that. One final, desperate attempt to communicate led me to the basement, where the older records were stored. There, I discovered a dusty, forgotten tome filled with rituals and incantations, hinting of an ancient curse binding the dead to their bodies. As I began the ritual, the room grew colder, and I felt a multitude of eyes upon me. The final words left my lips, and an overwhelming silence fell. Suddenly, the lights went out, and when they flickered back on, the bodies were all standing, their eyes fixed on me. In that moment, I realized too late that my actions had unleashed something far worse than restless spirits.
Well, that's a weird ass creepy story. Like, what? Okay, next. Yeah, go follow the clean girl. That's actually her TikTok. It was like the clean underscore clean, the underscore clean underscore girl. I appreciate her cleaning that grave. I don't know the person, but that was very, 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 very kind of her to do that. And did you see how pearly white she was when she finished? Like, that grave looked beautiful, honey. I'm sure that soul was very appreciative. She probably been gone for a century. And somebody, random person, just come clean up her grave. That was very kind of her. And very brave. Did you see all of those bugs? Honey, hell to the nah. I don't care about it being dark at this point because of those bugs. Yeah, no. I'm going to pass. It's going to be a hard no, but I appreciate you, sister. I do. Okay? But when I worked in the oncology unit in the hospital in Pittsburgh, I had to clean, tag, and take to the morgue the bodies. I held many hands as they literally took their last breath. Those who didn't have family members and loved ones that were able to come to them or have at all, we would do that for them when we know it's the end of life. And we literally have a clock like, okay, they're about to go. So somebody should go sit in there with them, make sure they're comfortable and all of that. If the window can open once, they take their last breath and we know that they're officially gone, we open the window so that the soul can be released and not be stuck in the hospital. But a lot of times the windows don't open, so that's why hospitals are so haunted for that reason, for the most part anyway. But yeah, I have many stories that I can tell. I always say that. I'm going to tell them one day. Who knows? But as far as that story goes, honey, when they talking about everybody stood up and he knew what he was in for, yeah, I call cap. That's not real. It was a little spooky story, but that wasn't real at all. Next video.
Stop it. I swear if this thing open up again. Do not do it. Don't open up again. Alright, time to go.
Security guard for Securitas at Kaiser's Hospital. So basically, I used to work graveyard shift in a Kaiser hospital from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. My objective was to observe and report, assist visitors, to lock and unlock doors from when they open up and close the hospital, and then unlocking doors for nurses, or if those morgue people were pulling up to deliver or take fresh dead bodies to or from the freezer. Then I'd have to go down to the basement, which rarely anybody is there most times, and unlock the freezer room lock, etc. But anyway, one night at around 3-4 a.m. I was called over the radio to go down to the basement for standby to open up the freezer room for the morgue guy who was on the way for a body delivery pickup at the time. Man, was my anxiety kicking in at this point. I thought, why not go down there early just in case and just wait around. After taking the elevator down to the basement, I made my way over to the freezer room where I scanned my security ID and opened the door to make sure there was room for the man to deliver pickup. Oh shit, literally what I screamed after I saw the morgue guy already inside the room jotting down information on the dead body. He seemed to broaden already at the time. I started to say sorry for cursing behind him all sudden like that because I was caught off guard. And then I tried to introduce myself as the security and tried making conversation with him, but not once did he bother looking back at me or reply. 5 minutes, 10 minutes inside and not one move from this guy. The same still stands, as if he were almost a creepy statue just looking down at his writing board, faced away, and not once did he turn around to show his face, and very oddly quiet. I remember I felt a very cold and weird vibe at the time, while writing on his notepad what I assume he was doing, cause I didn't get a clear view since I was standing like 7 feet behind him. He started to mumble something to himself in a whispery kind of voice for a few seconds, so I thought clearly he was trying to say something to me, so then I said, "I'm sorry, did you say something, sir?" And then the very first words out of his mouth since I was there, in a very clear and deep voice, he said, "Please get out." So like the respectful human I was at the time, I said, "Okay, yes sir, I'll be right outside if you need me." Keep in mind, as I am outside waiting for him to hurry up and do his thing so I can GTFO already low, I started raising questions in my head like, how TF did this guy get in already? About 15 minutes later, I get a call over the radio from my supervisor that the morgue guy had pulled up in the parking lot and was waiting for me to unlock the front door at the basement. I made my way down to the front door immediately, about 30 feet away from the freezer room, and unlocked the door for the guy who introduced himself as the morgue guy, forget the term, forgive me, law, and told me he was there to pick up the body from the freezer. I was confused, but wasn't too freaked out at the time yet, cause I thought to myself, maybe it's just a different morgue guy in the room who one of my co-workers let in prior to me coming down just now. But it still didn't make sense, cause we can't leave those morgue guys in the freezer alone until they leave so we could confirm that the doors are locked. I told the guy at the front door, the room's occupied already, man, there's somebody in there, but I think you could go in there too. I told him to wait as I radio my supervisor. I told her that the morgue guy is here, but the freezer room is occupied cause there's already another morgue guy inside. She called me on my cell phone and I picked up. She told me there should definitely be nobody inside that room without her knowledge, and she asked if I was sure if there was somebody inside. I said yes, I was inside with this man for a while, but I never saw his face, and he eventually told me to get out. So I respected it and got out the room. BTW, keep in mind, at the time we're always instructed by our boss to stay inside the freezer room with those guys until they were done. I was never supposed to get out even if they told me to. Anyway, me and the guy made our way down to the freezer room, and again I scanned my card at the door. Opened it up, and to my surprise nobody was inside. Nothing I saw was there, like it never existed. No bed, no man, no body, no notebooks, nada. I let the guy in and he did his thing quick, and I said bye to him and he left. I was telling him how I really saw someone here and that I even talked to him. But literally there was nobody in the basement at the time. My co-workers thought I was on drugs or something. I know what I experienced, but now that I think back to it, it was no doubt a supernatural experience. Everything was so odd and quiet and scary during my time inside. He didn't say a single word up until please get out. The mumbling, his deep creepy voice, it still gives me chills.
Hey queens, tired of feeling stuck and overworked? Check out the video on my website and see if digital marketing may be your way out. Hope to hear from you soon. Yeah, how do you feel about that story? Because I believe that it could be true and something supernatural definitely happened to that guy, but who knows? But guess what? It is the end of the video. Woo, woo, woo. Y'all guys made it to the end of this video as usual. I appreciate you so freaking much. I do not take your time for granted whatsoever. Thank you for spending a good 60 minutes almost with me. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe. Of course, share with who? With your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your niece, your nephew, your auntie, your uncle, your bestie, and your enemy, honey. Because what? Anybody can get it. Anyway, y'all, as usual, I appreciate y'all. Let me know in the comments where you're from, where you're tuning in from, what your zodiac sign is. I am a Gemini, in case you couldn't tell. But yes, you are my soul tribe. The tribe is with a Y, because the Y is for you, because I love you so freaking much. I truly do. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Even if you're not subscribed, I appreciate you for giving me your time and trusting me with your time. So with that being said, it's over. And we out this beat. Deuces. Ashe.
What do you like now? Over my third eyes.